Without any waste of time, I'll just say my quick goodbyes here from Johannesburg and hand you back to Leanne and the Minister of Finance in Cape Town.
Right, Palesa, thank you very, very much. And a final couple of minutes here during this broadcast. Let's get as much as we possibly can in. All right, Minister, you wanted to just finish off your last comment, particularly with a question regarding jobs.
Yes, I think that the President already in the State of the Nation address dealt with the structural reforms we must implement in the economy in order to get jobs created. The announcement about resolving the mining impasse, which will get mining investments going, the announcement about telecommunications, the establishment of that 100 billion rand fund to support black people in the financial sector, the announcements we made about supporting the emergence of black farmers and the land reform program, and a whole range of other announcements that were made in the budget that will create jobs. So if you go through the budget again, you will see that it was more than about VAT. It actually outlined a series of interventions that are going to be implemented that will create jobs by growing the economy in an inclusive way.
All right, so let's go to the floor now, and there's just one or two more questions and comments that we've got. Now, the next man who has got the microphone is Vusi Pikoli. Now, Vusi, I'm not sure where you are. There you are, Vusi Pikoli. Please stand up. To get a comment and a question from you. You haven't got a microphone. I can see someone running to you now. A name that's been thrown around as perhaps our next NPA boss? I didn't say that. No. I just read that. Didn't say
well,
it.
Thanks,
A pleasure.
Good morning, Minister.
Morning, Professor.
I have no question because I didn't expect this. I saw somebody coming to sit next to me with a microphone. But be that as it may, I would like to congratulate you on your difficult budget presentation in the midst of competing interests, as you have said. You say the unlimited needs but limited resources. I agree with you on that. But also I think we need to take care of the wastage of those resources because they are drained through corruption. And unfortunately this week, Transparency International in its corruption perception index has sort of downgraded us from number 45 out of 180 countries to 43. Now, 0 is the most corrupt country, and 100 is the cleanest, so to say. So we have been on the decline. So in terms of taking care of those resources, that's one aspect that we need to really concentrate on. Which brings me to my area, which is the criminal justice area. I appreciate that you have got 190-something billion in this sector. I think we need more in the sense that the budget cuts affect the police, they affect correctional services. Now, we won't be able to stem this corruption if, for instance, we are having this critical shortage. I'm glad about the job summit. The problem is not only unemployment, it's also unemployability. So we need to address that issue. I'm glad that in terms of investing on education, which will address the necessary missing skills in our economy, because we need a performing economy to be able to achieve all our goals. So I hope the summit will also address those issues. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Vusi Pikoli, for your comments and your response to the budget. Now, Minister, you yourself were telling me that some of the hardest questions that you've been asked and spoken to about were from these young students that entered this competition. We spoke to them on the program yesterday. We had all of the finalists. The winners were announced last night, and they're here. They're with us in the audience. So again, if the winners of this competition, there they are, standing right there. Stand up. Give us a, there you go, congratulations. So you won the competition.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks.
Outstanding, well done. I'm not sure, I think you've already maybe asked the questions to the Minister, but that wasn't to this broad audience.
Yeah, no, they were tricky questions. I'd like to ask them again.
Good, go for it. We don't have much time,
sure.
so
I'll keep it short and sweet. Minister, I know you're tired of talking about VAT, but and there's been a lot of talk around increasing the rates, but not a lot of talk about what's actually included in that basket and what isn't. And one of the things that came up last night was sanitary pads and tampons, and the fact that those are considered as luxury goods. Maybe you could explain why that is, and if you think that should be fixed.
And then our next students as well, just quickly as well. Thank you.
What I'd like to ask is, Minister, yesterday you highlighted that there will be an increase in the expenditure ceiling, and that the budget, the debt as a percentage of GDP would stabilize from 61% to around 56.5%. So what I'm asking is, how are we actually going to fund free education, given that we've increased expenditure, which means we are going to fund education, free education, but our revenue is limited, yet our debt is stabilizing, which means we are not likely to borrow money to fund free education. So I'm asking, where are we going to get the money?
All right. I think you've got about 2 minutes to respond to those in all.
You know, I wanted to start with what Malusi raised about funding the criminal justice system to be able to fight crime. I think you will agree that a great deal, you know, there's a lot we haven't done to review our system of government to make it more efficient so that we can divert resources away from administration towards the programs that we need to implement. Now, I know that in the criminal justice system, the administration could very well be the institutions that are fighting crime and corruption. So with the expenditure cuts, we expect that government departments are going to review the way they function, to reprioritize within themselves, and in order to be able to deliver on their services. And that includes the police, it includes the justice system itself, correctional services, home affairs, and others. And as I say, there's still a lot of fat in government that needs to be cut so that we can improve the resources available for the implementation of the policies and programs of government. Now, the question about sanitary pads is under discussion. The items that become classified as zero-rated items in the VAT system, there is a process within tax administration division at Treasury that involves other divisions like SARS that looks into what items become zero-rated. And I'm sure they have heard that. It's not the first time, as I said last night, that this matter is being raised. I myself raised the issue in the department as we were preparing for the budget. So we will look at it, but how we arrive at the decision is an independent process that is going to be undertaken. And finally, the reason why the expenditure is rising is in large measure because of the fee-free higher education budget that we now have to include in the expenditure ceiling. And how we are going to fund it has already been calculated in the cutting of the budget, or I mean of the cutting of expenditure, the raising of revenue by 36 billion rand. Going forward, it's going to be built into the budget that we present. And so it was only this year that we needed to find a resource to fund the higher education system. But going forward, we are building it into the budget, and it's going to be funded going forward.
And that's where I wrap you. Thank you, Minister. Going forward. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your input. Thanks to you at home for your comments and to the audience that have gathered here. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. God bless.